So very good evening to everyone here in the audience, and thank you very much Diabetes India for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Thank you doctors and chair. First of all, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Riddhi Modi from Mumbai. I'm a person living with type 1 diabetes. I've lived with three different types of diabetes in the last 20 years, and it was a kind of a roller coaster journey, starting with GDM and then moving on to LADA, and now finally I'm a classic type 1 diabetic. With that, I have explored exercise and continuous monitoring over different phases, and finally, with this very humble attempt to present this, baseline case study with you all. First of all, I'm not a medical expert, but I'm a certified diabetes educator, and you will observe that whatever you see in this is basically just an experience that I have, kind of accounted in my personal research. So with that, I'd like to share that the aim of this study was to see how structured exercise and monitoring in type 1 diabetes can help us to improve time and range. Now, I think most of us in the audience are aware of type 1 diabetes being an autoimmune condition, and it requires very close monitoring. So, if we have access to better tools and technologies, it is really nice to use the CGM at least, so that we are able to track our patterns. And with SMBG, what happens is we get only particular snapshots. So the aim of this study was to basically improve time and range and use exercise as the basic tool. Now, what is the impact of physical activity and exercise? It does improve your glycemic control, and it optimizes on your cardiometabolic and macroskeletal health. So I have seen in my experience that the glucose variability, if understood well, and if you study your own pattern very closely, that can help you to reduce the variability and understand which part of the day is your insulin sensitivity. So paying close attention to the important aspects of type 1 diabetes management, which is insulin, your nutrition, the correct timing of dosing, taking care of all your adjustments and corrections, paying very close attention to pattern observation. That is one of the most important parts of this, and then working towards improving your time and range. So basically what I have done as part of structured exercise. So what did we do is basically in a week I have planned out my exercise, so that was balanced by both aerobic as well as anaerobic activity. So 2 to 3 days of resistance training, 2 to 3 days of running, and 1 day of active movement. That could be like walking and stretching, yoga, something that will let your muscles also relax and recover, and 1 full day of rest. That would just mean active mobility, not really engaging in intense exercise, but basically making sure that the used muscles have gotten some time to recover. So just simple steps of walking was done, and I have taken the assistance of different technologies and apps to monitor all my data. So as part of the type 1 diabetes management, I've used the CGM, I've used Libre with Meow Meow 3, just so that I can get, I can observe my patterns much more closely. And as part of other fitness related apps, I've used Strava very closely, and as a part of my heart rate monitoring, I've been using the Apple Watch. So the heart rate indications were given to me by the watch. It is a very important but most underutilized observation that can help us to manage any exercise. So let's say, for example, if I'm running, if my heart rate is within a tolerable limit, then I don't need to take extra bolus. But if I'm crossing a certain heart rate which is putting stress or pressure on me, then I need to observe the pattern, because my blood glucose levels start rising. So then I can accordingly plan what I need to do for correction. If you see the screenshots, I know they are a bit smaller, but the first report, it is basically an average glucose over a 24-hour period. And what I had used in the study was a 3-month period from 5th September to 3rd December. In this 3-month period, you will observe that the average blood glucose level in a day or an exercise day constitutes of 24 hours. So if you observe, the average blood glucose is 133, and we have taken this average based on different times of the day. So when you observe your pattern closely, you will see that different time of the day, how much insulin you have on board, accounting for basal as well as bolus, will help you to understand your body's response to a certain exercise which you're going to take up. This really helped me to improve my overall time in range. As you can see, the time above range has come to a good 9%, not more, and the time below range had dropped to like a 1 to 2%. And if you see the second report, the graph which shows that the time in range is showing 89%. So when I started this study, my time in range was somewhere around 73%, and after engaging in this study for a period of 3 months, the time in range has improved from 73% to 89%. And on a given day, so one particular day which is a 24-hour period, I've also achieved more than 95 to 100%, almost touched 100%. So, the conclusion is, but before I go to the conclusion, the third diagram where you see the number 28, that is a snapshot of the app Strava, which actually helps you to track your exercise over a period of full month. If you see, 28 is the number of days I have engaged in some physical activity, 26 is the number of hours, the number of kilometers either run or walked is approximately 75, and if you see the orange circles around, like weekly, they have plotted on which day I have taken up resistance training, which day I have taken up running or walking. So we must use these apps so they can encourage us to engage in more physical activity. And also, what is very, very important is to track your data. And as we have all heard many sessions, data is everything. So for a type 1 diabetic, your response may vary from another person's response. So if any of you are type 1 in the audience, a lot of you are, and we would also encourage doctors that if they are looking at type 1 population, to encourage them to take up exercise. A side benefit of this study, besides the TIR gain, is also to debunk myths about type 1 diabetes and exercise. There are a lot of hypoglycemia related fears that people living with type 1 are usually facing. So, me being a woman, I want to shed those myths to say women must engage in resistance training. Even if you haven't run a marathon, it's all right to start physical activity under supervision and observation by tracking all the parameters. To be safe, start with even 500 meters, build up slowly, but structured exercise and monitoring is the key. So, thank you so much for being an attentive audience, and I'm happy if there are any questions.